Okay, I'd like to call the meeting to order. The first piece of business is to approve the meeting minutes. We have meeting minutes for November 16th, December 7th, and December 21st, but the 21st had not been reviewed by council, so I want to defer them. So let's take up the meeting minutes for November 16th. And there are a couple of questions I know Chris had on the meeting minutes. The first thing I noticed, it was actually the minutes for November 16th, not the 11th. On the first page, it says Chairman Bergen requested the size of the generator, and then there's a blank, and it should be filled in that the applicant agreed to supply that information at the next meeting. So that takes care of that. And then on page 2, there was a comment about who David Freeman was on the Keaton matter. And he was the applicant's representative. I think he was also the architect. Then on page 3, that gets a little dicey. I don't have an answer for you for the blank spaces.
It was just kind of confusing as to what was addressed. There's no recording for that meeting.
Okay.
So that's why I couldn't verify. So that was my only comment, was that it was a little unclear as to
Right.
what that meant to be said.
Yeah, it's been so long ago, and since it wasn't recorded, I honestly can't fill it in. So, should we just leave it the way it is, or do you want to? You'll take care of those two other changes, or 3.
I would take out the language that's in question there,
Okay.
since we're not sure of the meaning.
Right.
And that,
It's not that
will end up getting explained in due course.
right. We didn't really do anything at that meeting with regard to that particular application, and we're going to be doing more on the I guess the 18th.
Right, and if you recall, even John himself didn't really completely understand what the zoning enforcement officer's decision
Right.
meant, and so we need to do some work, just, investigative work on that.
Right.
I
Okay.
told him that I would sit down with Ron.
All right, great. And then the last one, it's page 4. If you were wondering who seconded the Red Wing application.
I think that was David Sowers.
I was going to say David Sowers was the person. So throw in David. I was going to throw him in anyway, just since he's not here.
You can't see us.
You can't, yeah, that's right. So, anyway, with those changes, well, let me ask you this: has anybody found any other corrections or have any questions, concerns?
Well, I got some on the 21st, but you don't want to do that one.
We're not going to do that one because council has the right at it.
Okay.
All right. So, subject to those changes being made, I make a motion to accept the meeting minutes from November 16th, 2016, as amended. Do I have a second? David seconds. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, carried. All right, did everybody have an opportunity to take a look at the draft meeting minutes for December 7th?
Yes.
Okay. I could not find any issues, any corrections. They look fine to me.
I have no correction.
Okay. David?
Correct.
Okay.
Yes, no.
All right, so at this time I move to accept the meeting minutes as presented for December 7th, 2016. Do I have a second?
Second.
All right. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? All right, carried. All right, that takes care of that, and again, the 21st will take care of that, the January 18th meeting. Next, we have the approval of the 2017 meeting schedule. And we are going to try to go to a once-a-month format at some point in time. But right now, we're going to stick with the twice a month. I don't think we have really, John, any idea when you think you might want to make that transition? And we can talk about it and see how the workflow is.
Yeah, I think the sooner that you do that, the better. It's gonna make things easier.
Let me ask you this, should we adopt this? Because the meeting schedule that's proposed calls for the traditional twice a month.
Did you, and
There's one more change that needs to be done to April 4th, would actually be April 5th. I don't know that I've noted that on yours, so just about
Okay.
that.
April 5th.
The other two were.
I mean, I agree with you, and it seems like at this point in time, the workload is greatly diminished after the flurry of activity in the fall.
right, that's another.
So maybe
And
now.
also, the closer to the first of the year, so it can get published, when you do have a schedule, it can come posted on the town website. And like, I agree with you completely, that given the amount of traffic and of applications in front of the board right now, it's actually a good time
To do it.
to make the switch.
So perhaps we should not vote on this and maybe vote on a revised schedule at the next meeting, January 18th.
Yep, I think so.
Why don't we do that?
Is there something that I can approve, at least for January and February to post, and then March to be determined?
Well, certainly,
Or
yeah, certainly
something?
post for the 18th,
Okay.
and then maybe we can decide
To be
that
determined.
the 18th, whether we want to go to a one meeting
Yes,
in February,
yes, yeah,
and then decide what that date will be.
yes. I would just pick one of the days you're already,
Right.
and just drop, instead of picking a new date, just drop one of the, and you guys have to speak amongst yourselves, and maybe reach out to your new board member to find out which of the early in the month or later in the month date worked out best for you
I
guys.
like dealing with the planning board too. I mean,
Yeah, oh,
planning,
that's right, yeah,
we want to coordinate with them.
that's right. Yeah, having their meeting be ahead of ours.
I think we probably should go, and we can talk about this at the 18th, probably go for the later date, the third week.
I think there's just
Third
earlier in
Wednesday.
the month.
Huh?
I think the planning boards are earlier in the month.
Right.
Yeah, that's what we would want, so
Right.
that we could have their responses in hand.
Yeah.
So if we kept with the second dates, it'd probably be
Yep.
best.
I think that makes some sense. All right, so why don't we table this, unless anybody has any...
And just in our minds, start thinking that February will begin, it'll be the
15th.
second date in February, right? That'll be the beginning of the new monthly cycle.
Okay,
So we're gonna make the second or the third Wednesday every month?
right. Okay, so we'll table that. All right, and then next, under public hearings, we
Can I,
have...
just before you go on, and
Sure.
you guys already talked about, the other things, the other provisions on here, because if you're gonna meet once a month, you may be able to, we'll look at the time, but right now, the submission deadline is 9 days before the meeting.
Mhm.
Chris, do you know offhand what the submission deadline is for the planning board? No,
I
but,
believe it's 2 or 3 weeks.
yeah.
I think it's 3 weeks, actually.
Yeah, I would just suggest that 14 days,
I like that.
14 days would give you guys still a little bit more time. It gives Chris more time, and that is a lead time that is commonly used in lots of other boards.
Is that,
2 weeks.
is that something we would vote on here to do, or?
Well, I think
just
that
as a
should be
procedure?
part of the revised, the new schedule that you have proposed
Okay.
now has that information at the bottom.
Oh, agenda close date,
Yes, exactly.
okay.
Yes,
So,
so change
yeah.
9 to 14 and all the dates on the
Right.
right.
Yeah, and the only thing, Chris, I would add to that on here is that I would add a sentence that says, if this is what's gonna get posted, that applications or materials that are received after the agenda closes will be put on the agenda for the next month's meeting.
Okay.
Great. Okay, ready? We have one matter on for public hearing. It's the Michael Gregory case. Can you come on up and,
Chris, I'm accusing myself.
okay, and you are?
I'm Kevin Young.
Okay, Kevin, basically what we want you to do is do the same thing you did when you told us about the application. And if you want to use the board, but what we do in the public hearing is really to explain for the public. Is there anybody out here for the meeting or for this application? I guess
Ma'am?
not. Ma'am?
Are you here for the public hearing?
No, I'm just here for class.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, high school.
All right.
So we still have to kind of go through the process. You can be abbreviated, but just to remind us again of what you want to do.
All right.
And you have a camera up there, so.
All right. I'll just hang it up there.
Yeah, hang it up there and then speak slowly and loudly so they can pick you up on the tape.
All right. My client, Michael Gregory, is wishing to add an addition to the existing garage on his property, which I have surveyed here. We are seeking a few different variances. We need a side yard on the west side of the property. We need a rear yard and an area variance because it is an existing undersized lot. So the addition he will be adding is 22 feet by 24 feet, and the existing garage is 22 by 22 feet. So, that is what we're doing.
Okay. And I know you've submitted plans. John, I just have a question. I know he's spoken about needing 3 variances, but is it really only 2? Is the last one grandfathered? Just because it's a substandard lot?
Yes, yes.
So I don't think we need number 3.
Yes, and Kim looked into that, and
Okay.
Yeah, it's under section 122, or 125-22, it's existing lot of record, so,
So you need 2 instead of 3, so that's good.
Is that fee for the third?
should be able to get that
I
back.
should be able to get that back.
Yes.
Okay,
Yeah.
great. Okay. And I'll show the color copy of the
Sure, that'd be great.
the plan again. I provided everybody else with black and white. So the existing garage is the gray. It's a cinder block structure, and the proposed addition is shown in the red. And that will be the addition. So,
Right, it's,
any questions?
it's not that complex
Yeah,
application.
thank you.
I don't have any questions, and the application was pretty thorough. Richard, do you have any
No,
questions?
no questions.
I do have a question, and that is, did we make certain referrals out to either Dutchess County Planning Board, certainly, and other agencies?
Referral to the town planning board is the only required referral.
It's on Route 308, but that doesn't matter, okay.
We did do, I did do referral to Dutchess County Planning Board as of our last meeting. And it,
Dutchess County or the Rhinebeck land?
both.
Okay.
Okay, I think that we had determined because it's for residential, that
I think we might have done it just to be safe.
Yeah,
Okay.
Yeah.
the last, that's what I remember, just to be on the safe side, yes.
Okay.
And if I recall in doing the parcel access, something did come up to verify that they needed
All right.
footage.
When was the referral done?
Referrals were sent on 12/22.
And it looks like the Rhinebeck Planning Board did respond.
Yep.
It's in their folder.
All right, I think we can close the public hearing, John, since we have
well,
6.
you'll have to close it next week.
Oh, that's right, that's right, you're right, we only have 2, so we'll close it. What we'll do is we'll hold, continue the meeting, public meeting, or hearing open until the next meeting on the 18th,
Okay.
and we'll close it at that point. So,
Yes.
You're right.
You won't lose any time, they'll just take the vote at the next meeting.
I'm not, like I said, I'm not able to be there for that.
That's
You don't
all right.
have to be.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay.
You don't, unless the board members have questions, or the new board member has a question, you probably, your presence isn't absolutely required from this point forward.
Okay.
Right, and Jeff Irish has already heard the application at the last meeting, so
Yep.
he's familiar with it.
Okay.
Great.
Great.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, next on the agenda is Brugge's, and that's over till the 18th, right, John?
Yes.
And then also, that takes care of everything under new business. Under old business is the Dowden solar farm, and there was some confusion there.
I have a question about Rudy's. I believe it might have been like an earlier meeting, November 16th. You might have mentioned that the Rudy's public hearing was going to be tonight, and then at the December 7th meeting, I believe you changed it. But it sounded like the public notice for Rudy's has it for tonight. So if we're
Okay.
having it for the 18th, I don't know if a new public notice has to be issued?
I don't think for carrying it over, I don't think we need to send out a new notice.
Okay.
Because we already opened the public hearing ages ago on
Yeah.
that, back in the beginning.
Right, back in November.
Yeah.
All right, so it's just carried over to the 18th, and that was on the consent of all the parties.
Yes.
Yes.
There was a neighbor who may put in opposition, or at least comment on the application, and all parties agreed at the last meeting to put it over to the 18th, so people could submit what they wanted to submit. We'd have a chance to digest it. You, John, would have a chance to talk to Ron, and then maybe talk to the parties as well.
Yep.
Okay, under the old business, there's the Dowden Solar Farm, and that's a matter that I had to recuse myself from. I don't think there's anything.
There's nothing new to report today, and we'll have to see where this is going.
We should mention the only way we can vote on that is if our new member joins.
Correct.
Yes.
Yeah, because Jeff is also recused on that. But tomorrow may provide some guidance on that matter. So we'll
Yes,
see.
and we're doing some research. I mean, it's premature to discuss where this is going at the moment.
Right. And I can't discuss it, so. But anyway, there's nothing on tonight.
Correct.
All right, and then the next matter is Keaton.
No.
Oh, not Keaton, I'm sorry, McNally. And we did get a response back, apparently from the planning board on that.
Yes?
I couldn't find like if there's a physical, formal letter, but this is what I had through an email. I provide you all with a copy.
That's fine, I'm from Gretchen.
Right. At this point in time, have we gotten all the referrals back, or comment back? looks like the Conservation Advisory Board and the Waterfront Advisory Committee didn't have a problem with this.
Right.
There's a review dated December 21st.
And the planning board, DC planning wasn't required, town planning board responded, CAB responded. I presume the CAB's response was both that in its capacity as the CAB and the Waterfront Advisory Committee.
That's what the document,
Yep.
I have a copy of it.
So the referrals should be all taken care of then.
All right. And refresh my recollection, have we closed the public hearing on this?
I think it was carried over to January 18th.
Oh, okay, it was carried over to the 18th, all right. All right, so we can close it on the 18th. And then assign, we'll discuss it and assign a resolution.
Yep.
Okay. All right, and that's really about it, other than noting that as far as correspondence goes, we received something from Dutchess County Planning on the Downey matter, and also we got the planning board response from McNown with no planning or environmental concerns. And that's the agenda for this evening. There's nothing else. John, did you have something you wanted to discuss?
I do have something that I want to show you. You can adjourn the meeting and I'll give it to you. It's not official business, and that'll allow everybody to begin to go home. We can take up the discussion of this at the January 18th meeting.
Okay, so at this time, is it appropriate for me to entertain a motion to close?
Yes.
Okay,
I second that.
all right. All in favor?
Aye.
All right, we're done.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.